What up? What up? Happy Friday. It's the Recap Lunch Hour with Guff. Ryan McGuffey here back in the palatial estate of the Recap Studios. Coming to you on a Friday, Valentine's Day. A lot of love in the air. Should have probably done that for the question now that I'm thinking about it off the top of my head. Who is your Chicago sports Valentine? I'm just coming up with that on the fly. I think that's what we're doing. Who is your Chicago sports Valentine? Because, God, I don't know. I need some help on this one. Who is your Chicago sports Valentine here on the Recap Lunch Hour? This should be interesting. Because I guess Caleb by default. Ben Johnson, I think, would probably get some votes. What up, Swayze? Who is your Chicago sports Valentine as we are live here on the Recap Lunch Hour? Questions, comments, concerns, you know the drill. Far away, we'll get to them, but I really do kind of want to know. This is kind of one of those weekends. It's like post Super Bowl lull. The NBA is off. They take center stage because it's the All-Star game. Look, folks, do you care? Do you care about NBA All-Star weekend? I'm throwing a bunch of questions at you today. Mattis Bazelis is in the slam dunk contest tomorrow. I think he can win the damn thing. At 5-1, I'll probably come at you. Mac McClung going for his third straight. I think that would be boring unless he's so good that he's far and away the best. I think I liked him. I like what he said. He's going there to win. But who is your Chicago sports Valentine? I'm trying to think of mine. It's probably a Bear. I think is it too early for Kyle Tucker to be a Chicago sports Valentine? He hasn't even been to Chicago yet, outside of Cubs convention. I'm going to say I think Caleb is in the mix. I think Ben Johnson. I think Rome Odunze might be in the mix. Maybe he's not in the mix just yet for some of you guys. What up, William? Swayze's going Kyle Tucker. Definitely will be the difference maker in the lineup. I don't hate you for that. But think about that. Like, this should be don't you think there should be a definitive, not maybe a definitive answer, but more, we should have like a boatload of options here. And I just don't think we do, that's the state of Chicago sports. I'm not sure this team right here. I don't know if there's anybody from that team at all. I guess Connor Bedard from the Blackhawks could be a guy. The Cubs probably have a few. This team, no shot. And then you got to go all the way to Walter over here. Walter. So maybe the Bears. Maybe the Bears are the Chicago sports Valentines. Certainly have the team. Then there's a report out there that the Cubs weren't as competitive with Alex Bregman as originally thought. I saw it from our friends over at Bleacher, Michael Cerami, who's just an absolute stud at Bleacher Nation. He said, according to Jon Heyman, Alex Bregman liked the Cubs, but Cubs ownership barely competed, offering $115 million over 4 years and no first-year opt-out. A first-year opt-out was imperative, I think, for Alex Bregman because he's hoping that he can test the market again next year. He's hoping a big year in Boston resets the market, and he's back as a hot free agent. Whether or not that works, we'll see, especially with 2026 and a possible strike looming. We will see, but maybe the Cubs weren't as competitive as originally thought. Eric, my man, what's up? Kurt, I knew you had a Cubs question. Who's worse, Jerry acting like he's broke or the Cubs front office lying about being poor? Yeah, Kurt, I get it, man. So you're not going to vote for either Jerry Reinsdorf or Tom Ricketts as your Chicago sports Valentine. That's fair. Everyone's mad. The Sox are bottomed out as they're going through the worst couple of seasons in the history of the franchise. The Cubs, they can't get out of the middle, even though I do think they're going to win 90 to 92 games, even without Alex Bregman. Clyde, of course, you're at work, my friend. Look at you doing I'm at work too, but I'm here for you, my man. Are the Cubs, Jed Hoyer and Tom Ricketts, afraid to trade for Dylan Cease so they can get to the World Series? I do not think they're afraid to trade for Dylan Cease. I think the Padres have a very high asking price. Last report, and I'll circle back with Bruce Levine tonight and tomorrow as we're on Inside the Clubhouse tomorrow morning. Bruce is in the desert, and we'll discuss a lot of this stuff. The Padres are reportedly keeping Dylan Cease. Now, that could change with the right offer. But as of this week, the offer was for Matt Shaw. So I don't think you're trading Matt Shaw, especially now that Alex Bregman's gone. Swayze, we don't hear many. I think there's okay. I'm going to guess that says we don't have many, so I'll go with one from each team. Now, you're talking about who's your Chicago sports Valentine, right? So Swayze's going Kyle Tucker, Connor Bedard, Modest Bazelis. Actually, Modest is probably a good call. I thought the Bulls had no one. And Ben Johnson. Sox, I don't know. White Sox? Wow. I mean, it's probably somebody that hasn't made it to the big leagues yet. But how about this? White Sox, Will Venable. All right, Will Venable, the new manager. I expect things to look different. I'm talking maybe not wins and losses, but how they lose, how they play the game. I expect that to look different. I think it was a great hire. Even if it doesn't work out, I think it was a great hire. I'm going to go Will Venable, Swayze, for you on that. On to the actual team. Why isn't Robertson signed? Who's backing up first or third? And please, no Justin Turner. You know, yesterday there was a lot of people on here asking for Justin Turner. So I think Justin Turner's a really fine major league backup at this point. The Diamondbacks just signed Kendall Graveman, former White Sox. A lot of guys out there in terms of free agents. Marcus Stroman just signed with the Yankees. He's back in New York. How about the White Sox taking a flyer on a minor league deal for Joey Gallo? That came across last night. So David Robertson's still out there. And I'm guessing, Kurt, maybe David Robertson's looking for opportunity in terms of he wants to be a closer, maybe an eighth inning guy. I don't know. And maybe he's waiting for injuries in spring training before he makes his decision. That could happen, especially for a guy who's 40 years old, knows how to prepare, knows about his how he has to ramp up and et cetera. See, Swayze likes Justin Turner a lot, and I do too. I mean, Justin Turner would not be brought on this team to be the Red Sox are maybe a favorite to get Justin Turner. He played in Boston, but I'm looking at his splits last year. Okay. He's still his splits look almost identical, righties and lefties. He is a lot better at home, but a lot of guys are. In the second half last year, this is what I wanted to see. Second half last year, he hit 297 with a 382 on base and an 818 OPS. Why wouldn't you want that coming off the bench? Like, I don't know. Late inning, 7th, 8th inning, you have an opportunity, and you got Justin Turner in the on-deck circle, a guy with a WAR near 40 for his career. I don't know, man. Like, I kind of like that. As a DH last year, he only played 6 games at third. He could be a backup at first base where he hit 289 with a 374 on base. That's the thing. The dude just knows how to get on base. Still had a 354 clip last year. Clyde says they should give Ben Brown and or Caleb Kelly an opportunity to be the right-handed starting pitcher to round out the pitching staff and go for Justin Turner. You got to make sure these guys are healthy, first off. Caleb Killian, if I'm not mistaken, had a terrible year last year. I'm going to look at, I thought he had a terrible year. 2023. He only had 2 games in the big leagues. I was going to look at what his minor league numbers were because I didn't think he was all that great last year. So to say like he's got the front line on, and he's 27 too. Okay, he was fine at AAA. Like he was at AAA last year. He was fine. 13 games, 7 starts. Okay. An ERA in the 3s. That's good, but again, not a lot of experience there. Josh says Cease, Robertson, and Kyle Finnegan would be a dream. And you can't tell me that they don't have the money when they just offered what they offered to Alex Bregman. I think about that, Josh. Kyle Finnegan's still out there, huh? I think that's on me, by the way. That he's still out there. Yeah. Kyle Finnegan. Okay. Interesting guy right there. That'd be really good for the Cubs. So now you're talking, you want to add two bullpen guys. Don't you have to have some kind of insurance in case Shaw struggles? Yes. That's why yes. Help me understand how you trade for Tucker, give away Paredes and Smith, and then don't finish the job. That's been my thing from the start. Is you better be right if Matt Shaw is your guy, right? You better be right that he's going to come up here and just instantly be a stud. Because if he struggles, there's going to be a lot of talk about it. Keep in mind, too, you have Miguel Amaya. You have Michael Busch, who had a great year, but like he's still developing. Pete Crow Armstrong. You have a lot of young guys in this lineup that you're expecting to win a division with. No lose situation picking the guy up. I heard the Tigers may be interested in him. Of course, if you're a team that's trying to get to the playoffs, Justin Turner should be a guy that you're thinking of in terms of rounding out your 26 men. Yeah, Caleb Killian, Richard, to your point, was hurt most of last year, as was Ben Brown. That's what, like, I don't know there, Clyde. Like, Ben Brown has a lot of there's a lot of expectations. At the same time, where does he fit in? 8 starts for the Cubs last year. Had a 3.58. Came out of the bullpen too. But I don't know. I think you might have other options there. We were asking this question at the start, who your Chicago sports Valentine is. I'd be curious to hear that. While I'm not making this my bet of the day, this is tomorrow night. I think I'm going to take a flyer at 5-1 on our guy Bazelis. He said, I love what he said the other day. I'm going there and I'm going to win it. I love that attitude. He's the second favorite. I think it only goes down to plus 750 for some of the other guys. So I'm looking. Yeah, I'm looking and plus 750. So I think that's a good flyer. And those numbers are going to change going down. Got the young players develop. You got to make sure they do. Josh is saying his Chicago sports Valentine. Cubs, Sky, Hawks, and hopefully the Bears. Hell, I could throw the White Sox in there also. Yeah, but Josh, I'm looking for I need a name from each team. Or you don't have to, or just one name. The point is, we don't necessarily know. Like, there's not a lot to pick from, which is crazy. Josh says they don't deserve any Valentines. Somebody earlier, I might have been Swayze, and pardon if I'm wrong about this, said Bazelis could be his Valentine. And I think that's fair. That's a good pick. Clyde says Ben Brown is talented with a golden arm and the guts of a hitman. Wow. Are you family with Ben Brown there, Clyde? There's so many guys that have come through this town that have had a golden arm and not panned out. Hopefully Ben Brown's not one of them. No way to Justin No Vaccine Turner. Please and thank you. The Padres have to cut payroll, get Cease. All right. Well, unfortunately, and I'm not going to get into the vaccine stuff, but if you're worried about guys not taking the vaccine, there's a whole hell of a lot of them in Major League Baseball. I'm just telling you. I know that the Justin Turner thing during the World Series in 2020 rubbed people the wrong way, but you know what? This is the world we live in, and after the appointments yesterday, who knows what's next? But I get it, Kurt. I can understand to be pissed about that. And Padres have talked about getting under the payroll, but they've also just said they're keeping the rotation intact. We'll see. How the young players develop in the lineup will make or break for the Cubs' success this year. I'm watching them like a hawk, and that's why Matt Shaw is so important. Josh, you're in for the Bazelis. Gallo, let's go. Jimbo, he has a career 191 batting average, man. Like, Gallo was a guy Chuck Garfien and I, 5 years ago on a podcast, we're talking about, should the White Sox sign Joey Gallo to play right field? Think about that. And here we are. Where they're completely bottomed out, 41 and 121, we got Joey Gallo on a flyer. Lauren Betts of UCLA would be a good addition to the Sky. Very funny about Ben Brown. I like that we're getting some Sky talk here. Jimbo, you too, brother. Jess! Jess is always ready for 12:30. She gets stunned when we throw a 12 o'clock live at her. Wasn't the plan today. I'm blaming Cap. He knows. I'm going to say new Bears head coach Ben Johnson. She's talking about not Mattis. Hang on. She's talking about the Valentine. She's going Ben Johnson because so far things are looking pretty good. Bulls are a dud along with the Sox and Cubs. I'm sorry, Sox and Blackhawks. Cubs have a lot of holes in the team right now that they need to address. So she's going with the prettiest guy on the block, the new house. I like it, Jess. Smart. Makes sense. Safe pick. Hopefully it's the sexy pick of the year, right? Hopefully that's the pick. Kurt, Chicago Valentines, Kyle Tucker, Connor Bedard, no Bulls, and the White Sox farm kids. Kurt's pissed, man, because he's got so many questions about the Cubs always that he's not even putting a Cub and a Valentine here. Kurt's pissed. Lip, happy opening day for college baseball. Lip, missed you a couple times this week. Had a hit last night. Had Memphis. That was a nice put him away early and run away and hide. And then we missed St. John's a couple of nights ago when they lost to Villanova. Thought we were going to get a comeback there. Didn't happen. So put your picks together here as we get ready for the recap bet of the day. Jerry, what's up, my brother? Daydreaming today of teaching first grade. Daydreaming of Joey Gallo hitting 19 homers and driving in 87 runs for the Hiroshima car. Oh my God. I don't think that'll happen. Maybe Joey Gallo finds himself and has a resurgence year playing right field /DH for the Chicago White Sox. We'll see. Your best Valentine, Chef Paul, is the guy right here. Ernie, let's play 2. All right, Chef Paul, let's do it. Who would you suggest for the Cubs about the right-hand starting pitcher and an extra bat? I mean, the list. Anybody want to take a flyer on Lance Lynn? I mean, I'm half joking about that. Extra bat. You know, again, is it a starter? Probably not at this point. So the Justin Turner thing is I'm into it. Just like you said, Guff, Chicago City. Yeah, what do I keep saying? Hope and faith. I keep saying hope. We're putting a lot of hope and faith in Chicago sports. Those are not a place. I have a lot of hope in my life and a lot of faith in my life. When I apply them to sports teams in Chicago, I don't feel as positive about it as I do in my life. I hate that. Jess, help me. Find me a team, Jess. You think things out. You always have good ideas. Help me stop having hope and faith every year. All good, Lip. Hey, man, everyone's been sick. It's going around. I appreciate. Just make sure you keep getting better. Rest up. The gambling board definitely blows tonight. I actually am going. I'm going off the grid. I'm going college basketball, but again, you got to be a degenerate like me and Rip to really love finding a spot every day for a place to put your dough. Not mad, Kurt. Kurt's not mad about the Cubs. He's just tired of the poor boy act. If you can't afford to be the owner, then sell them to Cohen. He has enough money for 2 teams. I like that Cohen says that this is a public trust, which, quite frankly, Tom Ricketts sat in this chair and said the same thing. But Tom Ricketts he has a ton of money. Not the type of money Steve Cohen has. I get it. It's frustrating. Josh says we can put hope and faith in the Blackhawks, Cubs, Bears, and Sky. Even the Sox, only because they have a direction for the future. Man, Josh, you're putting a lot of hope and faith in everyone. Yeah, I guess, like if you're talking about teams with a plan, the Bears seem to have one. The Blackhawks have one. The White Sox, those teams have acknowledged it. So to your point, okay. They're just at different points in the hope and faith contract, though, which is part of it. Your Valentine, William, is the Cubs and this show. William, I love you. It's a good day for love. The Recap Lunch Hour loves you, William. That's awesome. Thank you, my man. David, rumor has Aaron Jones is a free agent target. I love that. I like Aaron Jones. Change the pace back. Veteran. has played in this division his entire career. You're live betting college baseball. That is a spot where you're going to have to help me, Lip. So keep me in the loop on that. You're going college basketball too, Swayze. I got a game I like. Okay. I got a game I like. Let's get to that here in a few minutes. Kurt, if the Sox have a direction, do the Bulls? No, the Bulls do not have a direction. They did something what we thought was improbable by trading Zach LaVine, but then they did nothing else. They have a litany of guards. What, 8? God. And then the guy afterwards is talking about playoffs. Come on, man. No, the Bulls don't have a direction. Mark Canha for the Cubs. Younger than Turner, less likely to have. That's a great call, Terry. Like a fourth outfielder type. He's a guy, professional hitter. Here, let me give you a little rundown on him. He's a career 763 OPS, but he's above average. Last year he got traded, played for 2 teams, had 7 homers, 42 RBI. He strikes out, but not at an alarming pace that a lot of these guys strike out at. Usually good for about 20 doubles in a full-time role. Interesting guy. Has been on a lot of teams the last few years, but think about these teams. He was raised in Oakland, so to speak. At one point was a 4-WAR player. Then was with the Mets, the Brewers, the Tigers, the Giants. Those are teams that are actually trying to win. Interesting pick there. Jess, if the Cubs send out a few more Valentines to another couple of pitchers and hitters, it might have given us some positive hope. Ricketts and Hoyer should add some chocolates too. Sweeten the deal. Today's the day to do that. Clyde, Cubs not rushing for Justin Turner. They need a couple of boosters to their chances. Chicago White Sox, Colson Montgomery and Braden Montgomery Ward. My Chicago Valentine's lunch recap. Love you, Clyde. Hope you have a good day at work. I think I know what game you're going with. Indiana plus 1.5. I'm not going with the Hoosiers. That team sucks. And I grew up with Indiana. I know that they just recently went into East Lansing and got the win. That team, the coach, the whole mess that's going on with Indiana, for a team that leads the nation in NIL, they have put together a very disappointing year. Looking at the board there, to your point, Indiana plus 1.5. That's where you're going, I have a feeling, all of a sudden. And now if you're doing that, you're going to probably make me do it. But looking at the game, Indiana, I'm going even grosser than Indiana. You got Indiana at home against UCLA. Man, I think I'm going UCLA in that game. I do. I think I'm going UCLA. How does Billy Donovan keep his job? They all say if he's burnt the soup every day, I'd be fired. Such a nice guy. If I burn the soup every day, I'd be fired. Here's the problem, Chef. I don't think Billy's burning the soup. I think Billy's getting burnt soup. So I think Billy's, the soup's being burnt by the front office, and then they're handing it to him to eat and serve to his players. I think very much he's not going anywhere. If the guys at the top aren't going anywhere, I don't think Billy should either. All right, let's do, you're not touching that game, just throwing out a watchable game. Well, I'm going to give you an unwatchable game right now. I'm going to go to the recap bet of the day. We got the win last night, as I said. Memphis were a big at half. I think they were 15 at half. They won the game by 15. They covered the 6.5. Easy. Look at this ugly mess. We're going with the Mac. Little Maction. The Ohio Bobcat getting 5.5 tonight at Kent State. Back to 1924-1. The Ohio Bobcats are a bad basketball team. Kent State's not bad. But Ohio hangs around. They beat Kent State outright at home just a couple of weeks ago. And so I'm just asking Ohio to hang around in this game. And I think they do. If you look at so Kent is like in the middle. They're 5th in the MAC right now. And Ohio is actually better at in conference play than Kent State. Ohio's 13-11 in overall. Kent State 16-8, but Ohio's 7-4 in conference. They're 9-2 at home. This is what scares me a little bit. They're 3-7 on the road. Now, most teams aren't that good on the road, where Kent State's 8-4. However, I like Ohio here. I'm not asking them to win the game. I'm asking them to hang around. Maction, all day. This is how you know the board sucks. This is how you know. Another great podcast. Thanks, Guff. Come on, Chef. It's Guff. Jason Guff. It's my brother from another mother. He's on CHSN. He does the Bulls. But thank you. Appreciate you guys. College baseball. You're giving me a college baseball play. Ole Miss plus 1.5 against Arizona. You know what, Lip? With all due respect to you being a degenerate, I'm going to play that game. I'm going to look for and play that game. Unbelievable. Yeah, I'm going to have to do a little research here when I'm off the air. You guys have a great weekend. Some of us have a 3-day weekend. A lot of people traveling. I kind of feel a little jealous now. I might have to figure out a getaway. Happy Valentine's Day. Hey, treat your loved ones with respect, not just today, but throughout the year. I don't care, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, partner, mother, father, siblings, kids. They reiterate today that you love them, okay? It's never a bad day when you feel and receive, when you give and receive love. All right? So appreciate all of you. Love all of you. It's the Recap Lunch Hour with Guff. For everybody here at the Recap, have a great weekend. We'll have recaps of everything. We'll have a rush hour later today. Obviously, the Bulls don't play. If Mattis wins, we'll take a stab at that maybe. But enjoy your weekend. I will be on the radio tomorrow from 9 to 11. Actually, 9 to 10:45 up to DePaul basketball with Bruce Levine with the latest on Alex Bregman and other stuff going on with the Cubs and White Sox. Putting a bow on this one. Appreciate you. Have an awesome weekend.